Over the last week, you will have seen a lot of people telling Marcus Rashford to stick to football after his continued work to help the most vulnerable children in the UK. Now, here's a few other people who I'm sure were told to stick to their day jobs. If Paul Newman had stuck to acting, he wouldn't have raised over $500 million for charity through the Newman's own company, and he wouldn't have made one of the best Italian dressings I've ever tasted. If Lance Armstrong had simply stuck to cheating at cycling, then he wouldn't have raised over $500 million to help cancer survivors through the Livestrong Foundation. If Gary Neville had stuck to cricket, then we wouldn't have had the best English right back. Admittedly, that one has slightly less global appeal, but certainly a lot of people care about it. If Leonardo da Vinci had stuck to painting, we wouldn't have the parachute, the solar panel, or the helicopter. If Graham Souness hadn't stuck to football, we wouldn't have the best TV pundit of the last 20 years. Actually, maybe he should have stuck to football. He should have stuck to football on that one. So if you think that Marcus Rashford should just stick to football instead of helping vulnerable children across the country, then you should stick your opinion down your cock. Hello and welcome to Late Night Live. This is Stretford, Paddock. We're here tonight with the latest Sancho news. We are here with, I'm going to be honest, a factory's been caught recycling condoms. And I never wanted to have to say those words, but I'm going to say it. Also, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is brutal. I say brutal. It is pretty brutal take on the situation for Sergio Romero and Marcus Rojo at Manchester United. We've got loads of stuff to get into today. But first of all, tonight's show is, of course, sponsored by Jupiler cans. Jupiler for, some of the most premium, let me guess. Language-wise, I'm going to guess Belgian lager. Cheers, boys. Due to what can only be described as an unprecedented technical fault in which 4 of our cameras have broken on the same day, I've got producer Cam here tonight. Say hello, Cam.
Hello, Cam.
We'll talk after this. He's going to be doing the 1s and 2s for the video tonight. So if there's any technical difficulties, blame Adam, actually, because he's the one who broke all the cameras. Tonight, first of all, then, let's get into our first story. Actually, no, before we get into our first story, I forgot. We are going to be looking at a rat who has won a gold medal. And you can guess whether you think it's going to be in the long jump or the Olympics or in the army. But I want your football vermin puns. Now, I don't want this to be some targeted attack at football players saying that they're vermin. This is literally for pun's sake and pun's sake only. So you could have, who could you have? Mishi Rat Shwai, something like that. You could have, a fox in the box, who could be your choice. It's not necessarily a pun, but it is. Foxes are technically vermin. I'm talking badgers, mice, rats. What else is vermin, Cam? Squirrel? Spider? Alvaro Morata, it works. Rat Letitia, these are great. I'm going to be coming up with my Vermin 11, who I think you could put against any team, basically, because Vermin tends to win out no matter what, doesn't it? I'll take a cockroach as Vermin, if I'm honest with you. I don't know if it's technically Vermin, but you know what Vermin is. Rat Letitia, it doesn't have to just be rats. Tyrone Vermings. I'm going to put Rat Letitia in already, because I don't think you're going to beat that one. Letitia. Rat Letitia up front. Perfect. Right, let's get into our first story then. Harry Magpie. That's good, because not everyone considers magpies to be vermin. And you know what? It's maybe the most controversial thing we've ever said. Controversial thing we've ever said. Play the controversy banner. Play it. Come on. It's like some sort of wicked radio station in here, isn't it? Oh, honestly. The controversy sound effect is in full force tonight. Harry Magpie. We're calling magpies vermin this early on in the show. Let's get into our main story then. And this is the latest on... we all need a drink for this, I think. Jadon Sancho's supposed move to Manchester United. This is coming from James Cooper of Sky Sports News. And we've had him as well on the Tier 1 Transfer Podcast. We've had interviews with James Cooper in the past. He is definitely a friend of Stretford Paddock. He has come out tonight and spoken about how, and this is a quote, the valuation United have is lower than what Dortmund want, but the deal is still very much alive when it comes to Jadon Sancho. Now, there was rumours earlier in the day where United were supposedly putting together a package of around £90 million in total for Jadon Sancho, including £70 million up front and a further £20 million in add-ons. Now, of course, that doesn't line up with the reported 120 million that we have seen suggested that Dortmund will be willing to accept for Jadon Sancho, that's the minimum they're going to accept for Jadon Sancho. 120 or sling your sausage. But it is another bid. It is another addition. It is movement on this transfer. Now, the fact that James Cooper, the fact that Fabrizio Romano, the fact that all the big players in the transfer world, except Stephen Arson, who needs to get his act together, to be honest, all of these big players are saying that this deal isn't done. Now, Dortmund are coming out every other day going, no, he'll be here next season. We've taken big steps. He's going to be here next season. We're so proud of ourselves. We're patting ourselves on the back. We've kept hold of him so well. And yet, the word coming out of every reliable transfer source in the world suggests that this deal is not dead. Again, James Cooper, very reliable for Manchester United news. Very reliable indeed. And he's saying that this deal isn't done yet. But there is still a separation in the valuations. Now, we've got what? Under 2 weeks? It's under 2 weeks, isn't it, Cam, till the transfer window shuts? He's nodding. Less than under 2 weeks. Less than under 2 weeks! Would you believe? It's less than under 2 weeks until the transfer window ends. 10 days to be precise. So something's going to happen. Maybe the greatest thing about the Jadon Sancho deal, the one saving grace, is that it's over in 10 days. Whether he joins, whether he doesn't, we're free of it until January in 10 days either way. So that only means one more Late Night Live where we have to talk about it. That means only 2 more-ish weeks of Transfers Live where we're getting every single update on the Jadon Sancho transfer news because we're all sick of it. But the problem with it is because he's so good, if it does happen, we have to talk about it. And when there are updates, we have to talk about it because we all want to know, because deep down, we're all, sick in the head. Let's face it. We're sick for transfers and the only cure is cash. Cash Wonga. Let's get some of your Vermin footballer puns. Let's get back into these. We've got Robin Cockroach. Who's that meant to be? Robin Cockroach. Who's that a pun on? Come on, Cam, earn your stripes. Mishi Batshuayi. I mean, I gave you that one, but I still like it. We've got David Moleary. That's not bad, actually. I like that one. I like that. Squirrel Regis. That's my favourite one so far. Now, what position did Cyril Regis play in, Cam? That's your job for now. Find out what position Cyril Regis played in. Because Squirrel Regis, John Kelly, is one of my favourite puns we've ever had. Cyril Regis? Forward. He's going on the right wing. He's probably a striker, wasn't he? Because forward in them days meant striker. But Squirrel Regis. Squirrel Regis. That's really good. Squirrel Regis on the right wing. We've got Mice Phelan. That's very good. Centre forward. You've gone on the right wing. He's a modern day right forward. That's what I'm saying that Squirrel Regis is. Someone says Jesus is awesome. Bit of religion in the comments. Nothing wrong with that. Cheku Coyote, that's very good. Should I put him at centre-back where he played the other week, or should I put him at... Have you played it again? I've given him a sound effect and he's ruining it. You're ruining it. Let's put Cheku Coyote in midfield, because that's really good. Cheku Coyote. One more before we go. Adrian Rabbito. I don't consider rabbits to be vermin, but I know that, if I said that to a farmer, he'd hit me with the blunt end of a double-barrel shotgun, and it's as simple as that. Vermin Van Dyke, that's not bad. That's very good, actually. Fleetwood Town, that's good, that's good. That's the team name sorted. We also need a stadium and a manager's name. Fleetwood Town. You hear that, Cam? Take that. Your favourite League 2 team. Whatever. We've also got, that'll do for now. Let's move on to our next story. And again, we'll come back to a bit of football in a little bit because we've got some Ole Gunnar Solskjaer quotes from today's press conference. But before that, again, I never wanted to have to say these words, but a factory's been caught washing, recycling and reselling over 300,000 condoms. Now, 300,000 that's a lot. That's a lot of condoms. The owner of the illicit factory has said that she had washed them and dried the condoms before selling them on to unsuspecting members of the public. A factory in Vietnam has been busted for washing and recycling thousands of used condoms and then selling them on to unsuspecting customers. Police swooped on an apartment in the south of the country where they found over 300 unlabeled and unpackaged condoms. For those of you who don't know, condom is one of the world's most popular prophylactics, isn't it, Cam? Yeah. The owner of the illicit facility said she had washed them and dried the condoms before remoulding them on a wooden, I'll change the word, length. Detectives say the woman received a weekly consignment of condoms from an unidentified person where they were repackaged after being processed. Where were they getting them from? Where were they getting them from? I mean, sure, everyone, condoms, great idea. I've got 4 or 5 on now, just because you can never be certain. You can never be sure. I've got 12 on, I'll be honest. I like to put a baker's dozen on there. Used condoms are a major risk to the public and can lead to infections as well as sexually transmitted diseases. Of course they can! No one's purposely putting a... Oh, it makes me feel sick. The idea of putting a... Okay, right. Remind me not to do any more stories about condoms because I'm starting to feel a bit sick. No more Johnny banter. I'll write that down. No more Johnny banter. Absolutely disgusting. The firm, no pun intended, has blamed the poor sales performance on the effect of the stay-at-home policies that are having on its potential customers. Intimate occasions are going down, and that is a manifestation of anxiety. What you see is this virus having a toll on the number of intimate occasions in the UK. Why are we making this some sort of social political statement about the number of intimate occasions being had in the UK? There's a woman washing Johnnies! Absolutely unbelievable. Health officials also suggested another way for lovers to have sex, but limited the amount of physical contact they have during coronavirus pandemic. Sticking to social guidelines, that's enough of this. There's children watching this. Next story. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been pretty brutal on keeping Romero and Rojo happy. This is according to Sam Stone, quoting, of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's pre-match press conference awaiting Manchester United's double-headed trip to Brighton tomorrow. He said... On again, Rojo, Romero, etc.'s potential happiness or unhappiness at not being picked, Solskjaer said, "It's not my job to keep them happy. My job is to pick the teams to get the best results. It's up to them to be fit and perform when called upon." I like this kind of hard line angle from Solskjaer. Excuse me one second. I like this kind of hardline angle. I'm always of the mindset of, I think the sentimentality in football is sort of overblown. The only real sentimentality that you should have in football is from the fans to the club, and hopefully from the club to the fans, although we've seen little of that in recent years from Manchester United, admittedly. We've seen time and time again, there is very little sentimentality and sort of that kind of, oh, well, didn't you take the club into account? Players will take moves that don't, appease the club, that don't appease the fans of that club, and much the same that clubs take moves all the time that aren't sentimental towards the manager or players. I think, again, it is slightly overblown. The idea that you play someone just because you feel sorry for him, I don't think there's much space for that personally at this level of football. Obviously, that's not to say that you can just take the piss or be nasty or be horrible to people, but I quite like the line that Solskjaer's taking over sort of his job is to get results, it's up to them to be fit when called upon. However, when he says it's not my job to keep them happy, it kind of is. Being a manager is keeping your team happy, isn't it? I was once, I wasn't necessarily a manager, but what would I have been? Supervisor at a coffee shop. And part of my job there, sure, I'm there in the early mornings, I'm opening up, I'm turning the machines on, turning the lights on, of course. But another part of my job is making sure... I used to be a supervisor at a coffee shop. Did it play? It didn't fucking play. For God's sake. It's playing too late. But part of that job is making sure you've got a happy team. Because a happy team means great coffee. Come to Costa Coffee on Oxford Road. Phil Rodent, instead of Phil Foden, he's going in. Yeah, personally, I don't think it's Ole Solskjaer's job to, be nice to players. If you're not good enough to play, you're not going to play. Michael Catrick, Johnny 1801S, Cam, write that name down. He's suggesting that cats are vermin. And who knows what he's willing to do with them with that kind of mindset. Jose Mourinho, fantastic. That's your manager. Jose Mourinho. It's a hard J. Raven Cottage, very good. Raven Cottage. I read something about ravens today. They're very smart. Or was that crows? Was it Russell Crowe? I don't remember. George Weasel, like a weasel. I wouldn't consider weasels to be vermin, but it's not bad. Khalidou Coolie Daddy Longlegs. I like that. Coolie Daddy Longlegs. Is there, I mean, keep the puns coming, but is there a sexier name in the insect world than Daddy Longlegs? Considering what it's describing, the most bumbly of just sort of shit. It's basically just string, isn't it? Daddy Longlegs. It's just string in the wind. And yet it's called Daddy Longlegs, like this like sexy, striding, cool dude, but it's not. Ashley Vole, left back, perfect. We love stuff like that. Ashley Vole, we like that, don't we, Cam? We love that. Wayne Raccoony, no. We don't really get raccoons in England, so I'm not going to have that one. I can't even read that one. Someone just said, right, AS, less of that, mate. What else we got? We've got Moth. Well, we've already got a team name. It's Fleetwood Town. Admittedly, Motherwell is better. So I'm sorry, Chris, but I've already written it down and I can't change that. Wesley Spider is going in at centre mid. Although, again, suggesting that spiders are vermin is somewhat offensive because they do a great job on the fly community. A community that has needed much needed, let's face it, culling since the Middle Ages. Sebastian Squirrelacci, it's not bad. Alex Foxlade Chamberlain, that's not bad, but I've already got a full midfield. I need a right back and I need a left winger, and we're all sorted. Peter Crouch, but pronounced Croach, I guess. Let's move on to our next story. Man jokingly accuses sister of attempted murder after cutting into her cooking. Social media users have said a half-decent vet could bring a woman's dinner back to life after her brother shared a photo of extremely underdone food she served for the family. A woman who cooked her family chicken katsu curry proudly shared a photo of her creation on Snapchat stories to show off her culinary skills. The picture shows breaded chicken breast, rice with a wedge of lemon and a salad. Okay, we get it. The picture shows it. The picture paints 1,000 words already, you don't have to describe it, as she tried to recreate the dishes hugely popular with Wagamama's customers. And it didn't look a bad attempt, from the outside at least. Look at it though. Let's just stop reading the article. Look at that. What is this? Absolute disgrace. Delete that. Delete the sound effect. You're not allowed to use it anymore. Putting aside side-by-side image of the dinner she had posted on Snapchat when it found she cut into the food, nothing close to her story, this actually attempted murder, said her brother. I've decided to put my sister down so it doesn't happen again. Right. That's unbelievable. Nothing close. Look at the state of that. I think, honestly, there's a super chat and I'll read it in a second. I think, honestly, that this was probably done for, let's say it, clout. I don't believe that anyone can undercook a chicken breast to that extent. It's not like medium rare. There's not a vein of pink. That is just raw. That's just raw, isn't it? The sort of person that can, let's be honest, that rice don't look that bad. It doesn't, I mean, I'm guessing it could be boiling the bag, that rice, but it's not guaranteed to be. And it doesn't look too sticky or soupy, so it looks as though it's been cooked at least properly. The sort of person that could put together rice that at least has some sort of dignity, I doubt could cook a chicken for what can be no more than 40 or 50 seconds. But, it got me researching as well, this. And it turns out in the EU, it is actually not necessarily safe, but you can eat raw chicken. Now, yeah, I'm getting dodgy looks from Cam here, but it's apparently in Japan as well. It's very common practice. Chicken sashimi. One thing I did read as well is that it tastes like shit. As far as the meat is concerned, you like your chicken tartare. No, your steak tartare, your tuna tartare. Chicken tartare is apparently ass, according to the article I read. So don't eat raw chicken. But if you want to, you probably will be safe, which, it flies in the face of a lot of Eastern wisdom. Western wisdom. Right, our final story for the day then. Before we get to that, I will read Carver Nopper's super chat. Yo, Jesus, what are you drinking and is it any good? What's your favourite beer? Brewdog. This is a Jupiler, which came in a Beer Hawk-like beer pack. So they sent us loads of beers. And this is a Jupiler. It kind of, the logo itself kind of looks like something for like an F1 car. And it tastes better than an F1, like oil or something, but it's not bad. My favourite beer, hard to say really. I do like a Lowenbrau. I'm a big fan of a Lowenbrau, I'll be honest. Lager-wise at least. Anyway, final few puns before we get into our final story. Roy Hedgehodgson, that's not bad. Badger Stuber. Antonio Vol Encia. Jack Dashwood double punned his way into the starting lineup there. Very good work. It's the inclusion of the Vol that's really surprised me. Gaelk Leachy. You're pushing it. You're pushing it, J. Ramone. Gabriel Badger Stuter. It's not bad. We need a left winger, though. That's all we need. Marco van der Rat instead of van der Vaart. Ryan Pigs. Again, one of the most intelligent animals. Certainly one of the most intelligent mammals. I think it's unfair to call pigs vermin. Stuart Little Downing. That's very good, and he's going at left wing. Again, does the fact that Stuart Little can talk negate his undeniably vermin roots? Yeah, could be. Speaking of Stuart Little, and I don't know how closely rats and mice are, and presumably they're not the same genus, but maybe they're the same order, I think it might be. Stuart Little Downing, and that's good as well, because Stuart Downing is quite small. There's a rat that's been given a gold medal. He's been given a gold medal for bravery and devotion to duty. Magawa has cleared more than 141,000 square metres of land, reducing the risk of injury or death for those living near landmines. As you can see, his little rodent pendant there. I need a clap thing, don't I? Well done. A landmine detection rat has been awarded a gold medal for showing life-saving bravery and devotion to duty. The giant African pouch rat named Magawa has discovered 39 landmines and 28 items of unexploded ordnance in Cambodia. He's cleared more than 141,000 square metres of land, and an effort that has earned him a PDSA gold medal, which is known as the animal equivalent of the George Cross. The George Cross recognises acts of heroism by British citizens and military personnel, and the PDSA gold medal honours such feats carried out by animals. Amy Dickin, the PDSA Awards and Heritage Manager, told Sky News he will no doubt enjoy a watermelon or two over the weekend. I believe that that's his weekend treat. And he loves a banana when he's on shift as well. So I'm sure he'll be back to working his high performance saving duties, and we're so immensely proud. So he's going to get on the watermelons this weekend. We're all had a watermelon or two, aren't we, boys? He loves a banana when he's on shift. We all do. Super chat as well, apparently, according to Cam, but you know. This is from Jack Carter. Please shout out Jack, Ben and Billsy featuring curry and cans. Now, I hope your curry is better than that katsu curry that woman had, but if it is, like I said, you'll probably still be fine with raw chicken. So have a good night, Jack, Ben and Billsy. Hopefully if they're cans of lager, you're over 18, and if they're not, you know, you can have a Vimto or a ting. Something like that. I like a kind of thing. This rat then was trained by Apopo, which trains rats to detect landmines and tuberculosis. Very much opposite ends of the spectrum there, aren't they? And he's the first rat in the charity's 77-year history to receive such an honour. Imagine a charity that's been going for 77 years and every single one of the rats has not done it. The training method works. 77 years, it's not working. All of the rats have exploded. Yes. Just give it time. And then 77 years later, Magawa comes along and fucking he's detecting him. He's just detecting him. Also, I don't know about you, but I consider bravery, or I assume that bravery should involve some sort of knowledge of the danger that you're in. Whereas this rat, presumably, is detecting mines and then getting a little chocolate coin. or a banana, as it seems to have turned out. Right, in honour of McGower, the life-saving rat, I've been asking you for your Vermin 11. Football, vermin, puns. And again, this isn't any slander to other players who have been verminized. This is simply an immortalisation of those players in vermin form. Now, a few last ones coming in, I'll read them out. Trent Salamander, Barn Owl, Duncan McCockiner. Again, I always read that name out and I know I shouldn't. Antony Marsupial. Marsupials aren't necessarily vermin. Thomas Wormarlen, very good. One more final super chat before I read out the starting 11. Vinay says, are we looking at any centre-backs at all? Our last league game was defensively horrific. We cannot enter the race for a fast left centre-back. Speaking of centre-backs, Eric Bailly looks to be coming back in as a first-choice centre-back, which ticks the box of a fast centre-back. Regarding transferring or buying a player, the only links we've seen most of the season were to Gabriel, who ended up at Arsenal, Upamecano, who has signed a new deal at Leipzig, but has also come out in the last few days and said anything can happen in football, so who knows what will happen there. And the other centre-back we're linked with is Pau Torres, who we spoke to Fabrizio Romano about a little bit on the Tier 1 Transfer podcast a few weeks ago. He said United were interested in Pau Torres, but the interest at that point hadn't extended to any sort of bids or loans or offers or anything like that. So it seems as though the only centre-back we're interested in is Eric Bailly getting him back from fitness and potentially Upamecano. Hopefully that answers your question. Right, let's get in, before we go, to our Vermin 11. A few more coming in. We've got just Angel Di Maria, which, that's the... Did he get called a rat or a snake for moving on? I like that one, actually, but it's a bit too mean. Ivan Rakitic. This, though, actually, very quickly, I need a goalkeeper. I've just realised I haven't got a goalkeeper here. Badger Nangolan, very good. Owen Vol Glazer. Oh, no. Craig Smith, that's borderline. That's borderline an attack, that one. Mole Salah. Bailly still a problem. Don't think that's a pun. Flea Grant, Ross Murphy, thank you. You can always rely on Ross Murphy to just, when you need him, just turns up. Right, here is our, and we don't have our outro music, so if we could get the intro music playing again to play us out tonight, our Vermin 11 in goal. Actually, no, before we get to that, team name, Fleetwood Town. They play at Raven Cottage. Their manager is Jose Mourinho. In goal, we've got Flea Grant. Right back, Antonio Valencia. Central defenders, what a partnership. Harry Magpie, yeah. Kalidou Koulibaly Longlegs. Left back, Ashley Vole. A midfield, what a midfield. Cheku Coyote. We've got Wesley Spider. Phil Rodent as well. Might not get many minutes, but he's very highly rated. Then on the left-hand side, we've got Stuart Little Downing. Up front, we've got Rat Letitia. And cutting in off that right-hand side, the cream of the crop, Squirrel Regis. Thank you very much to everyone at home for joining me. We're going to be back in the morning for the team news, for the watch-along for Manchester United against Brighton. Don't get caught out, it's a 12:30 kickoff. So no Lions. You've got to be up nice and early. Team news at 11:25. We'll be bringing you that before anywhere else, so make sure you check that out. Again, we'll have all the coverage of the watch-along, the fan cams, the reviews. Hopefully United will get their first Premier League victory tomorrow away at Brighton. We'll cover everything here. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a wonderful Friday night. Goodbye.